Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to bench press, and then I'm going to talk about some common mistakes. Everybody thinks they know how to bench press. Just about everybody who's gone to a gym has performed a bench press or something like a bench press, but a lot of people do it wrong. So I'm going to talk about some common mistakes. But first I'm just going to show you the basic setup and how to do it. So I apologize for the crude angles today. Usually I use my bench as a camera stand, but today I have to use it to bench. So first things first. You want to bring your feet in under the bench. Some guys have their feet out here, just sort of sitting loose. Don't do that. Bring them in, and you're going to lay back on the bench. You want your ass and your upper back pressed as tight against the bench as you can. Everything is tight. Your hips are tight, your ass is tight, your upper back's tight. You're going to take a grip. Some people like a really wide grip. Some people like a really narrow grip. I use a narrower grip. That's kind of subjective. Anyway, you want to unrack the weight. And you want to make sure everything's still tight. Ass is tight, upper back is tight, ankles are tight, pushing down toward the ground. And then you're going to bring the weight down, straight down to your sternum. And you want to keep your elbows tucked in like you're trying to touch your biceps to your ribs. And then you're going to explode up. So down, tight, elbows tucked, explode up. Down, tight, elbows tucked in, explode up. Hopefully this angle works for what I want to show. So the most common bench press mistake is not being tight. A lot of times you'll see people bench, and instead of being tight at their ass and their low back and their ankles, they just kind of lay loosely on the bench. And then when they unrack the weight, everything's super loose. And then when they bench, they go, they wobble around super unstable. When you do that, you're leaking tons of power. You're losing a lot of potential strength because you're just not stable. It's like, imagine if you're using a bow and arrow and the bow is totally loose and wobbling around. It's basically the same principle. You want to be tight like a bow being drawn back so that you can use all of that tightness to, boom, explode the weight up as hard as you can. Common mistake number 2. Flaring the elbows instead of tucking them in. When you flare the elbows out like this to bench, you're putting a ton of strain on your shoulders. It's very dangerous. That's like you're guaranteed to get a rotator cuff injury if you, are pushing heavy weights like this. You're also missing out on a lot of potential weight because you have a much less sturdy platform like this because your tricep, rather than being vertical with the ground and having a really strong sturdy platform, is way out here. So you've got this lever arm where you've got the weight here on your wrist, here on your elbow, and here on your shoulder, way down here. Whereas if you tuck your elbows in, you've got a nice, straight, sturdy line where your forearms are vertical with the ground, your tricep is in line with your forearms, and your shoulders are straight back, and your chest is fully extended. So you can boom, straight up, just like that, as opposed to out here. So I'm going to demonstrate bad and then good. So hopefully you can see. So, all right. So flaring the elbows, bad, 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 bad. And tucking the elbows. Good, 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 good. Explode straight up. Good, 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 good. Explode straight up. Mistake number 3. Not pausing the bench. So it's not mandatory that you pause if you want to bench press, but pausing, I think, is far superior. I don't see any reason not to pause other than wanting to push, 5 or 10 more pounds. So when you bounce the bench, which is what a lot of people do, they do touch and go bench like this. They go down, bounce, bounce, bounce. And when they do that, they're losing all their tightness at the bottom, and then the weight bounces up and you catch it right here. The result of that is a lot of strain on your elbow and your shoulder because it becomes sort of a ballistic motion where you catch the weight up here and then try to lock it out. Whereas if you pause at the bottom, your chest is fully activated, it's fully extended, and then you can use that to power the weight up and get more chest gains over time. So if you're a bodybuilder, pausing is superior because your chest is more activated. If you're a powerlifter, pausing is superior because you have to pause in a powerlifting competition. So if you don't train with a pause, you're not going to do very well when you go to a competition and you have to lower the weight because you're not used to pausing. Mistake number 4, making contact too high. A lot of times, this is usually a result of flaring the elbows, but people will bench and the bar will make contact up here at the top of their chest. If you're properly tucking your elbows in, you should be making contact right about at the sternum. And then you can push up that way. It's just much more stable, much less strain on your shoulders, and you're going to push bigger weights eventually. Y'all have a good weekend now.